But here's what I think.
Okay.
Trump should have someone, not him, but one of the super PACs, someone that, is clearly a Trumper.
Yeah.
Who has a lot of money and is running political campaigns, like political ads.
Oh.
Trump needs to have someone start running a jury nullification campaign right now. Both of you. I feel like you know what jury nullification is, Casey.
Okay, hang on.
I do not.
I've seen at least 4 seasons of The Practice.
And Suits.
Boston Legal and Suits. Jury nullification is where you try to throw out the jury.
No. Jury nullification is how Medgar Evers got off in the 60s. So you cannot punish a juror for misapplying the law. And if enough jurors vote to acquit, regardless of the evidence that was presented, if they acquit you, you can't be retried. You're innocent forever. So a juror can decide that even if all the elements of a charge are proven, that the charge was misapplied, either overcharged or charged for improper means or whatever, and can say not guilty. So a juror is never required. There is no amount of evidence or no excess of beyond a reasonable doubt that can exist where a juror is obligated to say guilty. A juror can always say not guilty. And Trump needs to advertise the shit out of that. Because all he needs is one person on each jury that's a Trumper, that doesn't care what gets, is not afraid to say not guilty, not afraid of being punished, like, oh, but they really proved the case, I need to vote guilty. No, you don't. Trump needs to just tell the whole world that you can always vote not guilty. Always.
So listen to my constituents out there.
Yeah.
Not guilty.
Not guilty.
I'm too legit. Too legit to acquit.
No, this is what I think.
No, I get it, because you're nullifying the choice, right?
Yes.
Right.
Well, because one of the things that prosecutors get up there and say, and so you can't, as a defense attorney in court, speak of jury nullification. They will declare a mistrial immediately.
Okay, that makes sense.
Like if I, as someone who went to law school, is sitting in voir dire and they say something like, if I brought it up, do you think you can be fair and honest, whatever, and impartial in this jury?
Right.
Yes, I do. However, if I believe you've overcharged, I will use a nullification vote. If I said those words, they would throw everyone in that voir dire out.
Yeah, because
and start
no
over.
one speaks like that except for legal people.
Well, but as soon as that term gets brought up, anyone that hears it is gone.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So if it's mentioned,
You have to know about it before you go into the trial because defense attorneys can't bring it up.
So can the jurors figure out nullification while they're
No, they sort of have to know it in advance. It just has
Oh.
to be this innate thing
Okay.
because it's never going to be discussed in the trial.
Well, I mean,
Right.
if there's a bunch of Trumpers, they're going to probably look for it.
How would they know?
I don't know, looking for a way to try and help him out by just going through, looking up different
Yeah.
things.
The last time Mel tried to help out, we still hear about January 6, 2020.
And that's true.
Dude, literally the only way that you know about jury nullification, and we're probably talking about 20 to 30% of the crim law professors in this country bring it up, is if you went to law school and had one of those 2 in 10 professors that talk about it.
I'm going to say there's at least 24, 25 now from listening to this.
So wait. So during jury nullification, someone says not guilty when they're all trying to make a decision,
Yes.
and at some point they hit a road or an impasse, and so then they have to go back to the judge, and then the judge is like, have you guys reached a decision? They have to be like, no, we haven't, or we can't.
Yeah, and most likely what happened is a hung jury because you're not going to get a whole jury of 12 to do it or 7 or whatever the number is that they have in the trial.
Right.
But if every juror does it, that person's acquitted, regardless of what evidence was presented.
Oh, so the whole jury would have to be.
Well, no. So some of the jury can do it and force them to go to another trial. They can declare a mistrial and start all over again, right? And with Trump, they probably would, but they'd have to
Right.
because you can't force a juror to change their vote.
Okay.
So that person who just thinks it's overcharged can say not guilty and just camp on it forever.
Right.
And that's going to be a hung jury.
Right. But usually people fold to peer pressure.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably some, they can dismiss some jurors to get down to a certain number because the minimum number of jurors isn't 12. I think it's 7.
7 sounds right, but only because we took that test a couple times.
Yeah.
That number seems right.
So I'm about to say something that will probably disappoint Layne. Is that where the saying, if you cannot commit, you must acquit comes from? I think that's what it's called, right?
That's not. No.
No,
You
no.
just bastardized a
I did.
Johnny Cochran quote from the O.J. Simpson trial.
You're welcome. I know. That's
If
why
the,
I was
if
looking
the
for
glove
it.
doesn't fit,
You must
you
acquit.
must acquit.
That's all right.
Yeah.
I bastardized an MC Hammer song. He didn't say anything about it.
I knew it was something like that. If the glove does not fit, you must
That
acquit.
was the dumbest thing that prosecution did in that trial.
Did it work, though?
Well,
mean-
I'm not sure they convict O.J. Simpson in L.A. at that time anyway.
Fair.
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to go back and watch the trial in its entirety, but I mean,
That was really bad.
Listen, it is bad,
That was not a solid prosecution.
but it worked.
That's what apparently Norm Macdonald got fired for his comments after the acquittal on SNL.
I believe that.
Hey, do you remember what he said?
I don't remember what he said, but I believe that because
He said, and in other news, murder's legal in California now.
oh, that's right.
And then SNL.
But anyway,
Oh, man.
so if one or two or three or a handful of jurors say not guilty, it's going to be a hung jury.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
but even if you believe the law was misapplied, if all the jurors say not guilty, even if the person is obviously guilty, they're acquitted.
Wow.
And you don't get to revisit those charges. That's
Right.
it.
You don't get to try again.
So what if it's like a 70-30 split?
Hung jury.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's a hung.
Even for a hung jury,
Yeah.
do you want to even just to seek out hung juries all over the place?
Yeah.
Trump should have someone pushing this narrative right now.
No, that's fair. That's very fair.
And
So
this
what, you
is-
just want like a political, like use some campaign funds and
use
make
whatever
a commercial.
Listen, I'm not a fan of Trump, but I am all for the chaos that's going to follow.
That's I'm just saying.
That chaos is going to be
Just
amazing.
saying, if he wins, there's cheap gas.
Do you want to talk to this guy? You want me to talk to this guy?
No.
Me and him nodded. He looked at you and figured it out.
No,
Okay.
He's good. He's just watching TV.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's a freeloader.
Yeah, but I think that's Trump's best bet right now. Not to do it himself, but to have someone that's
Oh no,
connected to him.
this can't be. No,
Yeah.
this has to be like 2 camps away.
I mean, you kind of helped just now. You don't like the guy,
Listen,
but I
I
mean,
think
Look,
okay. There's 2 things here. One, like Trump is almost definitely guilty of a lot of this shit.
Yeah.
I don't care. I also think I think a lot of politicians are guilty of a lot of this shit, and they're pressing this because it's Donald Trump.
yeah.
I don't care for Donald Trump, but I think as a nation we'd be better off if everyone that sat on a juror understood jury nullification. That you are never obligated to vote guilty in a criminal case, ever.
Yeah, I mean they should teach that at least to some.
I think it should be common
extent.
knowledge.
Yeah, it should. Because like
That
most people aren't going to know that, right? And again, people are going to fall to peer pressure.
Yeah.
Because you get to that. I've seen it. You get to that point where they make fun of it on TV all the time, but it's like you get like 12 or like 11 or 12 say,
Yeah.
"Oh," and then one person's like, "Well, I don't think they're really guilty." And they're like, "Come on, we don't want to be stuck here for another couple of days while you think it's not guilty. Clearly, they're guilty." And it's like, well, wait a minute. Don't peer pressure that. Don't bully that person. Like maybe you should rethink it.